We have some major updates of mixed martial arts, starting with the news. Aljamain Sterling is eyeing a fight with the winner of Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. Sterling reveals that if he wins his upcoming fight against Movsar Evloev at UFC 307, he will then fight either Ortega or Lopez. In a recent interview, Sterling said, "If I beat a fighter like Evloev, it will put me in the top 5 rankings. Then, I'd want to face the winner of Ortega versus Lopez, and after that, fight for the world title."
I beat a guy like that, I think it puts me in the top 5 conversation, and then maybe the winner of Diego Lopez versus Ortega, I fight that guy, and then I fight for a world title.
UFC 306 just wrapped up, and Merab got the win by decision. That makes 2 losses now for Sean O'Malley in his career. Big congrats to Merab on the win. As for Sean, he reacted to the loss by saying, "Overpromised, under-delivered. Sorry, love you guys."
After this statement, O'Malley started working on his takedown defense again. On his Insta handle, Sean shared this.
Down block.
Quote,
Down block.
"I know my neighbors have done this to me.
Sprawl.
And if they think it was bad
Keep the sprawl and back
just
up.
wait till they see me now."
Dana White reveals some crazy statistics about Power Slap. For those who don't know, Dana White started Power Slap in 2022. He has made bold statements several times that it will become even bigger than the UFC as a sport. Now, recently in an interview with Time Magazine, Dana White dropped some wild stats about Power Slap. He said, "Power Slap is the most successful business that I've ever been a part of in such a short amount of time. In 19 months, we have 17 million followers. We have some of the biggest videos in sports on social media, more sponsors than the UFC had in 10 years, and a bigger television rights deal than the UFC had in 10 years. And what's crazy is, they're saying all the same things they said about the UFC when we started. Literally identical. I used to say that the UFC would be bigger than boxing, and everybody said that I was an idiot. This will be bigger than the UFC. After Dana White's comment, the MMA community went off. We'll see if Dana's prediction actually comes true or not. Brian Ortega shares an amazing jiu-jitsu clip. Just before his UFC 306 fight, Ortega was spotted doing some insane BJJ. Take a look. Aljamain Sterling and Merab Dvalishvili clash with Sean O'Malley fans. Last night at ceremonial weigh-ins, a user has uploaded a video on TikTok showing Dvalishvili and Sterling fighting with Sean O'Malley's fans outside the Sphere. In the video, Merab is seen making an effort to get physical with fans. Take a look.
Yo, Aljo, once you accept the loss from Sean, you'll be a lot better in life. Shit tomorrow.
Alex Pereira goes off on Dricus du Plessis. After du Plessis' win against Adesanya, Alex had called him out, which DDP rejected. Now, during his appearance at UFC 306, Alex said, "Dricus is definitely an easier fight than fighting Jon Jones. I think making weight will be harder than fighting him. I showed interest many times, but he never replies. He shows that he's scared clown."
I don't know if you were trolling or not. If you could either fight Dricus du Plessis at 185 or Jon Jones at heavyweight, who would you fight?
Ele nunca dá uma resposta clara, e aí todo mundo sabe que ele tá com medo.
Dricus definitely an easier fight than fighting Jon Jones. I think making weight will be harder than that fight. I did stop making that weight class because I say my body needed a break 2-3 fights without having to do that cut. Now I think I rested long enough. I think I can definitely do that cut and make the fight happen, but depends on him. I showed the interest many times, but he never replied.
O Dricus do Plessis, ele dá sempre uma resposta tipo brincando, entendeu? A gente tá vendo que ele não quer. Ele tem que chegar, entendeu? E falar assim, "Ei, UFC", mas a resposta que ele dá, a gente tá vendo que ele tá com medo, cu de cachorro.
The way that he presents himself, he's always jokes on his response. Like he said that stuff for Strickland, for example, him. He's never serious, he's always trolling somehow when the subject's presented to him. He never takes serious. So he shows that he's scared, you know what I mean? So like, instead of him to just say, "Look, UFC, let's make me and Pereira fight." So, clown.
O que achou?
Não vou falar aqui.
Pereira also has some words for Jon Jones.
I heard you ran into Jon Jones tonight.
Falando de treinar junto. E agora acho que vai rolar.
Well, we both sitting down first row next to each other. We've been talking already about training together for a long time, but I think now it's going to happen.
Do you think that you guys might train for his upcoming fight against Stipe Miocic after you're done with your fight with Khalil?
A gente dá uma descansada e depois tá treinando.
I think so, because his fight's going to be in November. You know what I mean? Every time I leave a fight, it takes a week or two sometimes for me to recover small injuries, but I think I'll have enough time to go over there.
And obviously the rumors, everybody wants to see you go up to heavyweight at some point, talking about that super fight. When you stood next to him, when you shook his hand, how do you feel standing next to a guy like Jon Jones? Compared, like, size-wise, do you feel like you could get in there with a guy like that?
Então, não sei se isso é possível, mas eu quero aproveitar, pelo menos estar treinando com ele.
John's a heavyweight size. I feel like I'm heavyweight size too. Today I saw him more athletic, more fit than I think since he last fought. He looks really good, and I wanna get his experience. People talk about us fighting, but sometimes people say that he's gonna fight one or twice more, and I don't know if I'll be able to share the cage with him. But at least I wanna get the experience of training with him.
Dana White didn't like the main and co-main events of the Noche UFC event. He joked that people who were watching UFC for the first time might have stopped watching before the co-main event. During the post-fight conference, Dana said that those fights were disappointing and not the best representation of the sport.
To me, it's that I became a fan during COVID. Literally just met a couple people this weekend. Our fan base grew 69% during COVID. And yes, I think that tonight's event, some people probably tuned in for the first time, and hopefully they turned off before the co-main event, and they're big fans now.
Alexander Volkanovski confirms that his next fight will be for the title, and he is also open to fighting Diego Lopez for the interim title if needed.
So Lopez right up there now. I'm guessing he'll be ranked number 3. Obviously my next fight's for the title. Depending what happens, is there injuries in the Max and Ilya fight? You know, who knows what's going to happen? Could there be an interim with someone like Lopez? You never know. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, I want to fight sooner. Obviously, my next fight is a title. But if they can't do that soon enough and, you know, say if Max wins, is he going to go lightweight, do the BMF? Is there going to be an interim fight? I don't know, haven't had them proper discussions, so I'll get back to the UFC and have a proper chat to them. All I know is that my next fight's for the title, so let's find out exactly what's happening there.
Umar Nurmagomedov called out Merab Dvalishvili after the results of UFC 306. Umar was also present during the fight between Merab and O'Malley. Reacting to Merab's title win, Umar said, "I think I'm next. I hope they won't avoid and run. They have to be true champions and not choose their opponents. See you soon, guys."